Well, we have new details into the long-awaited sale of the Oakland Coliseum. Today, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors, in a closed session, approved the terms of the agreement for their share of control of the Coliseum site. So how big of a deal is today's vote? Stakeholders say it is a very big deal because this vote signals the final step of what has been a very long process. And that's because there were 5 things that each had to happen or this deal wasn't going to go through. First, the city of Oakland had to agree to sell its half of the Coliseum. Last year, the city agreed to that $125 million deal, which did have some stops and starts and amendments. The second step, the A's had to agree to sell their half. The team agreed to do that for $125 million last August. Then they had to work with the Coliseum Authority to settle the outstanding bonds for the Coliseum and the arena. And then they had to get litigation on the Coliseum that was pending against the county dismissed. And only once all of that was done, then they could negotiate with the county on a deal to transfer control. Because while the A's had bought half of the Coliseum, the county still controlled it. And step 5 was working out a deal to take over control. And that is what happened tonight. While this deal still needs to be written up and inked, tonight the Board of Supervisors agreed to the terms. And so that agreement can be drawn up and signed, which would then open the door for this entire transaction to be finalized by the end of May. Supervisor Nikki Fortunato-Bass told me tonight she knows people are ready for this deal to be done.
This is, as I understand it, the first public piece of legislation that the County Board of Supervisors has approved to say, we want this deal to happen. And we want the assigning the county's portion of the sale to the entity that has proposed this transformative development out in East Oakland. We want that to happen within 30 days. So this is a huge step forward.
And so what happens next? There are still a few steps after that deal is done. The bonds need to be paid. All agreements need to be inked. The deal on the table, though, is that Oakland would get $95 million by May 30th. Ray Bobbitt of the African American Sports and Entertainment Group says he knows there's a lot on the line for the city and that this money can't come soon enough.
Obviously, we're all local and we want to see things better, and so if we can, we're going to try to get this, we're going to move as quickly as we possibly can. So, but it is a very complex, large transaction. And there's just, it's really hard to describe the level of paperwork and, the documentation and just the things you have to go through in due diligence. It's pretty massive.
But once the transaction is complete and the money is paid, then the site planning will also start. So we can really see what the next chapter for the Coliseum will be.
Right now, first